There you are. Hi everyone, it's Andrew from Ant RC. I'm going to talk to you about two trucks tonight. I'm going to talk to you about the FMS FCX24, bingo here, and I'm going to talk about my completed WPL E1 project here. So, this is going to go to the side for the moment, and I am going to talk about my E1, which I have painted. Well, me and my boy have painted, so it's quite emotionally special to me, so I'm going to bring it in a bit. The WPL E1 all-terrain vehicle, tracked vehicle. It is not a tank by any means. What it is, I've done it as to match a picture I found on Tinternet. I like the yellow look, and it's come out pretty good. So this is an automotive yellow paint from Halfords, which by the power of video editing I'll put on, and it should appear right here. Boom. Rover Inca Yellow is what this is by Halfords, our UK automotive kind of retail park outlet. Not much of it left. So that's what colour this is. Not too bright, not too kind of bright, sunshiny yellow. It's on a grey primer background, so it's a little bit dull anyway. And after that, it's been washed. It's been some dark wash on it. It's had some rust, had some aluminium highlights put on it, and a few bits and pieces picked out, different colours, exhaust, and so on. One of the other key things I think was missing on the one of the hardest things to paint, I should say, is the black rim on each of the wheels. The tracks are another thing. They are obviously solid black rubber when they come out of the box. I've dusted them, I've rusted them, I've put some metal highlights on them. I'm not 100% whether they are actually all metal in real life or whether they are part metal and part rubber. I would imagine they could probably change them, but I think a lot of these things that were going to go anywhere near roads would have had rubber pads down the middle. So maybe black rubber pads and then obviously metal kind of outer. Anyway, whatever. So that's the E1. It's a beautiful thing to paint. Very easy to take apart. My 8-year-old took it apart, within about half an hour. He got everything down to its basic components and helped me with the painting. And he did some spraying. He did some washing of the panels in and so on. He took to it pretty well, and it's he hasn't driven it yet. I drove it last night, so you can see a run video of that coming very shortly. It'll be probably the next video in the list. It runs a bit noisy. It runs quite slow. It's not great on gravel or loose things because I think it's not originally not very heavy. I have put some wheel weights into this, so it's got a bit of weight to it now. Not too much. I'm going to stress it out. But the problem I think really is the weight as it is spread over a huge surface area with the tracks, so it doesn't cut through the surface. And obviously that's a good thing if you're on a boggy ground or mud or something like that, but we're in the middle of a drought here, so all I've got's dust and dry bits. So it kind of it just skids across on the top of the pebbles and then just rotates, and of course it does this as each track outweighs the other. It tries to out drive the other. So it's not great on that. It's not great at going up hills on that. There's not a lot of bite on the tracks. If the surface is hard, it will go up a slope, no bother. But the looser the surface, the less traction this thing's going to have. It's nowhere near scale weight, of course. So yeah, the tracks are a mixed thing. Obviously I'm going to finally, we'll get some rain and some mud, and obviously it'll get thrown in there. Not too far because it's not watertight, and the circuit board, although I have conformal coated it, yeah, it's just a bare circuit board in WPL style sitting in the hull about axle height. So that's the WPL. Very nice it is too. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you enjoy the run video once I've edited it. Now to this, the FMS FCX24 Power Wagon 24th scale 12T scale truck, which is taking YouTube a little bit by storm, which is why I got one. I was going to get an axial 24th, the Gladiator particularly, but I'm too much of a hard body snob, I'm afraid. I'll be honest with you. I love the Gladiator look, I love the wheelbase, I love the whole kind of package thing it does, but I just can't get on with the Lexan shell. From what I've seen, it's just got gaps and bad detail, and so this was the option. Now, there's a few things I want to talk about. I'm not going to give you a full rundown of it because there's FCX24 videos a go. I will put a link to Matt and Adam, whose channels are top draw, and both of them have been a big help. Okay, so Cape Crawlers have just got his. He's just got his FMS a couple of weeks ago, I think. So he's not caught up yet, but his SCX24 projects are quite inspiring. 2FM RC, I think that's Matt. He's been in a massive help. So thank you, sir. You may never watch this, but please, guys, go check his channel out. If you want tiny trucking, 24 scale tiny trucking, go check him out as well. They've got these things broken down a go. Now, there is a few things I want to talk about with it. You've also seen the run video of this, maybe next to Terry's Bronco, SCX24 Bronco. So the cat's out of the bag as far as this is concerned. A few things that I want to talk to you about. One of them concerns the box. We'll start there. So it is a box, right? It's got a lip thing, yeah. It's got the usual FMS polystyrene container in there, which is awesome. But it is a box, please note. Now, the early batch of these trucks, I understand, came with a sleeve. So it had the same polystyrene brick, but with a cardboard sleeve on it. Now, they had plastic portal gears. And you'll probably have come across, any Googling of this truck will bring you to videos talking about stripping their portal gears. I saw them, and when I ordered this, I ordered some metal gears as well. Imagine my surprise when it turned up, and the first evening I had a chance, I got the portal covers off, ready to install my metal portal gears from FMS that I'd bought. Only to find it has them in there already. And yes, believe it or not, they now ship anything that comes in a box. If your FMS FCX24 comes in a box like this, it will probably have metal gears. I can't obviously guarantee it, but it should have metal gears in it. Okay, metal portal gears. Now, the other thing I want to talk about on the box is this bit here, where it says comes with 24 sealed bearings, and indeed it's got bearings in it. I don't think there's any bushes in this thing at all. I don't know if the first production batch with the sleeve had bushings in. I can only assume that it did, otherwise they wouldn't maybe make such a big song and dance about it here. But it does come bearinged, not bushed, this rig. Okay, so that's, you don't need to bother with that. And now you don't need to bother with a metal portal gear upgrade either. Now, the other thing I want to show you or talk to you about also comes in the box. It comes with a little bag of rubber seals. It doesn't mention it that I can see in there either. They are for the oil shock conversion that you can do for free. I can only assume that it's too expensive to put them in the factory, that it would cost just a little bit too much and they'd have to raise the price of the truck and everything else. So they've given you it to do yourself. You put two little ones right in the little shock cap down here. There's videos abound of how to do this. I'll put a link to the one I watched. I think it was 2FM RC again. But you can put, you take the shock apart, the shock cap, you put the two little ones in there, and then you put the big one around the top cap. And then you fill it with oil. And you rebuild it. And you get a truck that doesn't bounce or wobble like a jelly when it flexes. Obviously, if you put too heavy a weight of oil in, well, it can't really do the job then. It takes a bit of, I think I just used, in the end, I think I used some fluid from my G-made shocks I got for the Unimog, but it's quite thin. They're only tiny little shock bodies, so you don't go with your 45 weight or anything, You want something really thin. And a bit of wobble's probably not a bad thing, really, at this scale, but, it makes such a difference to how this truck works. It's really short wheelbase, quite high up with a weight thing, hard body, so it does have a habit of bobbling about a little bit. So get the oil in the shocks, please, people, and smooth the whole thing out. Now, the other thing I will show you, point out, it does come with nice yellow aged headlights, as does the WPL. In fact, the E1's headlights are nice and yellow as well. Brilliant, love it. The hard body is a thing of beauty. I've done a little bit of panel line thing and a little bit of dusting and so on, just to kind of stop it looking too much like a toy when it went out with Terry's Bronco for the first time. You can see the video of that. Now, we'll also show you these wheels. They are tractor tires. They are meant to be like tractor wheels that have been put on the truck. It's meant to be a mud competition truck. That's the theme that they've gone for here, like the King Kong mud monster or whatever it's called, but that's a Russian ZIL 130 or something cab, but otherwise looks quite similar. Now, the wheels on this, they are plastic beadlocks, but they are not 1-inch beadlocks. They are 1.4 inch beadlocks, so you can't get a 1-inch bead tire on there. They're much bigger than a 1-inch bead. So unless you want to change the whole wheel and tire combination, then obviously a lot of people are putting the 1-inch beadlocks on with some, and because it's quite tall, these are about mil tires. Yes, they're quite tall anyway. For they're like they're RC 4-wheel drive scrambler tall. They're not 54 mil. They're not your sort of FCX24 scale tires. They are very much on the very tall side of tires for this scale. Now, I quite like the tractor tires. I was going to keep them and put some metal rims on. Then I realised when I got the truck, these aren't 1-inch rims. So I'm sticking with this for now. Come back, well, let's do it now. Because what I want to show you as well, on the side of the box, and I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this yet in the videos I've seen of unboxings, is look at this section down here. These are all the things that they're going to bring out. Let me read them to you if you can't read them from there. You are going to have some all-terrain tyres. We are going to have a POM differential, not sure what that is. A metal differential, I'm pretty sure I know what that is. We're going to have metal portal axle gears, got them already. A high-speed motor. Trust me, you put this thing in top gear, it's as high speed as you want it to be with lock diffs. A metal universal joint drive shaft. Aluminium link rods, aluminium rims, a motor heat shrink, aluminium shocks, metal drive gear, and brass counterweights. These are all things that they are promising. You know, I like these tractor tires. I don't know what they're like on the rocks. I haven't tried yet, but I quite like the aluminium. If these were sort of farmyard kind of basic steel wheels, beautiful. I have ordered some brass counterweights off eBay. In the meanwhile, I have also ordered some Treal links and portal covers. Treal, of course, known for their super sexy metal work. Anything metal they do is quite astounding. They're one of the first to the market with proper trustworthy metal parts. You know, there's a lot of eBay stuff is like, oh, it's for the FCX24 and the FCS24, when it's not. And I will note about wheels, even Injora on their website, they have said for some of these wheels, if you buy a 1-inch beadlock and you put it on this, you might not get the cap on because of the long axle shafts. And indeed, I imagine there's an awful lot of 1.0 wheels that will catch on the portal housings. So just because, you know, if you go to a less kind of reputable company and they say it's for the FCX24, you might have to take that with a bit of a gamble. But Treal, you know, I'm sure we all know Treal's name. They are pucker. So if they say it fits, it fits. So I have ordered some a link set, a steering link set, and what else did I order? So the portal covers, just to get a little bit of weight. I didn't want to have too much weight because I knew I'd already ordered the brass inners for the wheels, but I've got the sort of portal housings They do a plug-on cover, which is really heavy, which I didn't get. But the one thing, yeah, the links, a bit like the Easy RC Arizona, which is the same company, FMS. The links are awful, bendy, nasty, bendy things. The Panda Hobby links, much better. Just saying. Take the steering link. Check this out. Hope I don't break it. Doing, doing. And you see that? Doing, doing, doing. Isn't that lovely? Look at it bending. Right? Now, I will say when it runs, it doesn't seem to bother it. So you could think of it like a servo saver, maybe, eh? But yeah. So I've ordered a metal one of those and a set of upper and lower links. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So that's what's coming for this. I have also ordered an RC four-wheel drive Gelande interior, same as I used on the Arizona, or indeed parts thereof. Now, really the only thing I'm going to do to this, I'm not going to put a full interior in because it's tiny, you can barely see anything, right? So I did like the seats, and I reckoned that the seats are going to be a good size, and I think they are. Yeah. I did get a little figure, but he's a bit big, so the hunt might still be on for a suitably sized driver. I mean, there's not much room in these cabs at all when you look at the real thing. They're really shoulder to shoulder. But the seats are going to work. I'll have the seats in there. I'll maybe try and attach the steering wheel, but that'll probably be about it. I doubt I'll put the dashboard in or anything like that. It's just, there's not enough visibility. But I often get the, when I was running it with Terry, I got the balance port sticking up in the windscreen, which just totally annoys me. So I will be doing something on the interior, but not very much. Paintwork wise, not sure. I'm not sure. I might get away from the red wheels. I find them a little bit vulgar. I quite like the blue, not sure. I quite like the idea of it being orange with black wheels. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of where I'm thinking. Or maybe white wheels. But I'm going to wait and see now. I'm not buying wheels and stuff for this until the official ones come out, because I like the 1.4. I like the stance, I like the size. I might end up with a set. I might even keep these on here with the brass weights in. They might be perfectly fine like that, and then get a set of the aluminium ones that come out and put a set of their all-terrain tyres on, or maybe I'll get a set of 1.0s and put some scramblers on. The scramblers, RC four-wheel drive scramblers, seem to be one of the best, if not the best, widely available 1-inch tyre that will be this size. Okay, I don't want to lower it, don't want it any smaller, but there you go. So that's what I've got. That's my two trucks. This has taken up a lot of my time recently. This has had the bare minimum done to it, really, just the oil shocks to make it work for the video that I did with Tel. It's going to get a little bit more. The one thing I hate about this, let me just remind you of something I said earlier. The one thing I hate about this is the way the cab clips on to the chassis. There are 4 little pressure clips that you have to try and get to, and then force all 4 of them out before the cab will lift off, and then obviously inevitably one of them clips back in, so you end up having to go back. And then the wires for the headlights are ridiculously short, so you get the cab like this far and it starts pulling on the wires. So if I can put some magnets on this or something, I will be doing that and cutting those clips right off. But yeah, this is a good little rig. As it is stock, I don't count the oil shocks as cheating because it's in the box. So I'm quite happy running this as stock, and that's, for me, that's a big thing. You know, I don't run many rigs stock for long. But I like this. This is a good little rig. It performs beautifully. I mean, the first gear, the one thing I will say while I'm on, sorry this is dragging on now. What are we up to? 22 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. The one thing I will say, I have discovered, and this could be a bit of, there could be some fine tuning to do. Can you see that? Can you see the play? Now, I suspect this is because there's a lot of gears. There's a lot of moving parts in here between the motor and the wheels turning. There's a lot of little cogs, and there's bound to be a bit of slop, right? And there is. So you can hear that. that's not really getting to the engine. That's when it starts here. You can hear it, but there's no resistance there. And that I get when I drive it. If it's in first gear, especially crawler gear, and there's no load on the engine, there's a shunt. It'll spool up and take up the slack, and then it'll start going. And if you're crawling along slowly, sometimes it just kind of drops into that freewheeling zone. So you get a little bit of it can be a little jerky. If you're on a constant throttle, it's as smooth as butter. If it's going uphill or downhill, it's nice and smooth when there's a force pulling on the motor. But if it's just on the flat and I'm just creeping along, trying to drive slow for the video, it can be a little jerky. And next to Tel's FCX24 Bronco, which I've got to say is beautifully smooth, well done axial, whatever they've done with these version 2 electronics. If I could, that's the one thing I would swap. I would take his driving experience, the smoothness and controllability of that rig, and put it in this. 2 speeds and so on is great, but in the end, there's nothing he can't do that I can do better with this, you know. So yeah, I would rather have had 1 gear that was as good as his than 2 with this little bit of slop in it. Now it might be me, it might be a setting that I've yet to play with. I haven't really set this properly up on a test track and trying to find out what's right with it and what's wrong with it, but I'm not very scientific at the best of times, so I'm not sure what that would yield, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, that's what it is, and I really like it. It's I'm really happy with it. It's a beautiful rig to play with and run with. It drives nice, it works nice, it's lovely and smooth. As I say, a little bit of push and shove on the transmission stuff, accepted. It's probably quite scale, frankly, for an old Power Wagon type chassis. It probably has all manner of slop and imprecision to it. But hey, it's got tractor tyres, for Christ's sake, you know, come on, what's not to like? Anyhow, so after that Odyssey take 4, I'm not doing a take 5, so I will say goodnight now, and it's good night from him, and it's good night from him. So thank you for watching.